Imagine the scene. Paul and Silas have been travelling around Macedonia, preaching the gospel, but their missionary tour has just come to a screeching halt. In Acts chapter 16, we read about them being unjustly arrested after driving a spirit out of a woman. They are stripped, cruelly beaten, and thrown in prison. Their jailer is even given special instructions to guard them with extra care, so he puts them in an inner cell and fastens their feet in the stocks. Their chances of escaping? 0%. Now we only have to read a bit further to know that this story has an amazing ending. Paul and Silas are miraculously freed, and the jailer and his family all become Christian. But we shouldn't be too quick to move past the utter bleakness of this part of the story. They've suffered terrible treatment, total humiliation. Their situation is looking really desperate. And yet, in verse 25, the lowest point of this story, we read a beautiful detail. Stuck in their jail cell in the middle of the night, Paul and Silas can be found praying and singing hymns to God. The Bible is full of accounts of God's people singing praises to him at moments of great joy and celebration. If you're celebrating, if you're happy, it feels so natural to sing. But this moment in Acts is beautiful precisely because the apostles are in the worst of circumstances. It might have been natural for Paul and Silas to break into song when they're freed or when the jailer and his family become Christian, and I'm sure they did sing then too. But in verse 25, they're singing when they definitely would have felt least like singing and seem to have the least reason to. What possible reason could they have to sing? While their earthly situation at this moment is the lowest of the low, Paul and Silas have a hope that is not shaken by worldly circumstances. They have a joy that runs deeper than even the most painful and devastating of human experience, because their confidence, hope, and joy is totally in Jesus, their risen and reigning Lord. And so they can sing as those who have been wonderfully saved, those who are children of God, those who know personally the Lord's goodness and grace. Whether they live or die, whether they get out of that prison cell or not, they have a certain hope in a future that has already been won for them. And this is amazingly distinctive. Nothing but the gospel could give this kind of unshakable joy. Nothing but the gospel could move Paul and Silas to sing to the Lord in such a situation as this. The other detail we read in verse 25 is that as they are singing, the other prisoners are listening to them. What an amazing witness! How amazing must it have seemed to the other prisoners that even then, even there, these people were singing. If we're trusting in Jesus, this unshakable, untouchable joy is also ours. Living in a broken world, we definitely won't always feel like singing. We won't always be in the middle of joyful situations, like giving an amazing recital to a packed audience. There will be times for all of us when our circumstances seem to give us no reason to sing. Maybe when we're facing yet another rejection for an orchestral job, or another crushing lesson with a harsh teacher. But just like the apostles, we can sing regardless because of our unshakable joy and hope. And though it might sometimes feel like it, that's not us just putting on a fake happy face for a show. Instead, it's a beautiful expression of the fact that our gospel hope is not dependent on us, our actions or situation, our performances or our feelings, but what the Lord has done for us. Singing to God is an all-time thing that isn't feelings-based or situation-based, because our gospel hope isn't feelings-based or situation-based. And that is amazingly beautiful and distinctive.